very happy to be here. I'm Martina Maggioni, originally from Italy, but working at Charité University of Medicine, Berlin, and especially at the Institute of Physiology, Center for Space Medicine and Extreme Environment. And that's why you see here something that you maybe can recognize, the International Space Station. And you might ask yourself why I'm putting this here today. Well, because I'm taking you to another journey this time, not only a journey about how we can build resilience in low and middle income countries, but also a journey in my life, because I have a project running on the International Space Station, and you can see how space technology might be useful to develop adaptation strategies and even mitigation to climate change. So I'm presenting today actually 3 different projects, and that's why I put here some name of my colleagues who are leading the project from Kenya, Dr. Huaro and Dr. Benabongo. So let's start to the topic. We have seen today, and I heard a lot of inspiring talk, what is the emergencies of our planet, and how heat can impact health and human performance. This is the present, let's say, or the past, better said. And you see here the WBGT has been already clarified. This is an index integrating several factors affecting human health and performance from the external environment. Now, Sub-Saharan Africa is going to be one of the most affected regions, and one of the regions on our planet who has the lowest possibility to adapt. And that is the key message today and the problem. So in one of my projects is a research unit funded by the German Research Foundation, Climate Change and Health in Sub-Saharan Africa. We deployed a very high resolution level weather station in both Burkina Faso, you see here Nuna, and Kisumu. These are 2 geographical areas, very different, West and East Africa, sea level and middle altitude. And you can see here what is happening now in the near future in this area. We did projection based on the data that we collected since 2020. And we were able even to install the black globe now in this weather station. So having said the problem now, why we talk about built environment and why we're going to talk about sensor. First of all, built environment can help us to get a kind of shield, a protection against it. And anyway, the population will spend a lot of time, especially resting time, indoor. Indeed, there is also another factor. Migration is happening also in low and middle income countries. People are moving from rural area more and more to urban area. So urban heat islands are a very huge problem. So we need to find solutions that are at the same time, at the same level, affordable, sustainable, and acceptable, so to be adopted in this country. And what I'm going to show you is something that we create and we are implementing right now. Now, why sensor? Why wearable can be helpful? Well, colleague this morning, physiologist, Larry, Kenny, and other colleague, they explained very clearly, better than me, the difference and the limits of the WBGT. The WBGT, and you see here on the bottom, the cycle, work and resting period per each range. That's very nice, but we are not all the same. And this is what the environment from external is making on the body. Now, on the human being. What is about the response of the body? Can the human being adapt, cope, and keep the core body temperature constant against this environmental stressor while maybe making labor, working physically, not just sitting, you know. And so you see here age, different capacity to tolerate, pregnancy, or, for example, the existence of previous chronic disease. This makes people less able to tolerate. So we have also children here. We spoke very little about children, but children are also among the most vulnerable for heat adaptation. So we need an index that helps us to define the individual response. Between these two aspects, we can then define labor capacity and the residual labor capacity. And I would like to point out that, let's say, climate chamber study, I am a physiologist, wonderful. But one thing is to do 6-hour climate chamber, 10 hours. You know, I come from space medicine. We have facility where you can simulate the journey to Mars, and people are isolated for 500 days. Very nice. Another thing is live in that environment and rest in that environment for all your life. You can think they are acclimatized, yes, but now it's different also for them. So we know that working capacity, percentage of working capacity is halved by 2 grades of increase, 2 degree of increase of WBGT. So we have been doing a study in Burkina Faso and Kenya, starting back into 2020. First of all, we select so-called healthy farmers, men and women, because the other point is women are very different, and there are very scarce studies about occupational medicine in women. And we use an integrated concept, mixing up not only quantitative data, but also qualitative data. Then we did other cohort with people living with AIDS and HIV, same protocol. People living with chronic respiratory disease. This is ongoing 6 years now, and we are going to extend it more. So the integrated conceptual flow chart, you see here quantitative data. You have weather station that I mentioned earlier, WBGT indoor, then you have a bunch of research grade wearables, not consumer grade. And we have ECG even during farming activity, and we have core body temperature. In addition, we did collect qualitative data monthly, and this was ongoing for 1 year, 120 subjects. We added even individual tracking with GPS to quantify objectively how long they were working in the field doing farming and which time of the day. And now this pattern was changing, and the work resting cycles. In addition, I want to point out why I talk about space medicine. This sensor that you see here, this one is a heat flux sensor able to estimate very, very precisely core body temperature. And this comes from space. This is Samantha Cristoforetti, an Italian astronaut working on the International Space Station, wearing, let's say, the father of the sensor we are currently using, so the first prototype. We developed this in a collaboration with Draeger, which is a famous company, but I don't want to make commercial advertisement here. I want just to show you the heat flux approach has been used on the International Space Station successfully, and now even in the intensive care units. And what we did an adaptation developing a very miniaturized data logger able to collect data for days, actually. And surprisingly, our participants were open to wear it during their daily activities. So we did also other study in multiple sclerosis patients, so there are a lot of application. So at the end, this is a paper that is under revision in Lancet Planetary Health. First of all, we demonstrated that farmers in sub-Saharan Africa, here in Burkina Faso, are exposed to WBGT higher than 28 for 10 months in a year. Then farmers use self-adaptation strategies. That's okay, very nice. They can reduce intensity duration. Women are not able to implement such strategies because of chores. So we look at men and women. And this flexibility is not possible for wage workers and informal artisans. So in the next phase, we are going to look into urban areas. Wellcome Trust was so generous to fund a very long-term project, 6 years, and which I'm presenting now. Climate change is very complex, so we know that we need integrated approach. We cannot look only one problem. We have to find solution that can respond to the complexity. And this is an example. So in Western Kenya and also in coastal Kenya, you have a high level of malaria, and you have also high level of thermal discomfort indoor. How we can solve this? So we have to find a solution to reduce malaria burden and to increase thermal comfort. First of all, we did co-creation. Co-creation is not just as we did a lot of time in global health, looking and exchanging opinion is very structured. I want to show you the first pilot of intervention we developed. Then we tested this pilot, and you see here a screened window, with mesh to protect, to impede mosquitoes entry. Then you see the screening also of the eaves between roof and wall, and the matte ceiling, and the painting, the reflective painting. Now, what we found in our pilot is that cool roof painting is the most effective one, day and night, and also that people are very open to apply this, to start with do this modification. And the beauty here is that we work with what we have. So we are not building new homes, but we are trying to modify in a sustainable way what we have. Then we started co-creation. Co-creation starts with community, owners of homes, policymaker, local, regional, national level, and then we create prototype to be analyzed by the expert, and then there was a design loop that we did the same way with the expert, and at the end we asked for community validation to be sure that they will adopt this new solution. And the thing is, the beauty is not just to consult or include, because people can think out of the box much better than expert. So we as experts, we were there to try to find a solution to do what they suggested, and they are open to do. And this is what we came at the end, and what is starting now to be implemented. You have two different kind of windows, because we are operating in two areas, and the coastal area is affected by salt and by in the air, which damage structure, and they have different safety concern, different situation. So you have one operable window for the coastal side, and the other one is is the opposite. This inoperable window is for the coastal side, and this is one for the internal part of Kenya, where there are more safety concerns. And then you see the reflective roof, and this is also the solution with the curtains here. Insect screen door curtains. Less expensive. We did also, in the study, we will monitor human capacity, directly objective measure of the impact of this intervention at the individual level, with outside with weather station, indoor, and so on. And the last point is early warning system. We have early about early warning system, what happened in Africa, what happened in Kenya, for example. Yeah, you see here, they are often fragmented and top-down, which is not making them very effective. So this is another project funded by Science for Africa, where we use the same approach with co-creation to generate intervention that are really able to be adopted. With this, I leave you with my keywords. I'm the personification, I think, of interdisciplinarity and crosstalk across all discipline. And this is my facility where I do also research in Antarctica, hypobaric hypoxia, high altitude, in the middle of nowhere, isolation and confinement. Thank you very much.